Who was this man, Jesus? Who is this man so many have waited for? And what does he have to do with me? Jesus was born in a humble town called Bethlehem, to a humble family of Mary and Joseph. He was raised in a town of Nazareth and worked in the trade of carpentry. Jesus was a perfect Hebrew child, not only upholding the faith of the Jews perfectly, but also teaching in the temple from a young age. The temple scholars were amazed at the knowledge of this child. When he reached his 30s, it was time for Jesus' earthly ministry to begin. But before that would happen, he was baptized by John the Baptist and endured a vigorous trial in the wilderness for 40 days. Jesus then began his ministry, during which he healed the sick, restored sight to the blind, and even brought life to some who have died. All throughout which he proclaimed the good news that the kingdom of God is here and the Son of God has come to redeem his creation. During his ministry, Jesus was a teacher to 12 select disciples and many others who would listen. And there were times when Jesus would take these 12 aside to make a special point. During one of those moments, Jesus asked his disciples, "Who do the people say that the Son of Man is?" They replied, "Some say John the Baptist, others say Elijah, and still others say Jeremiah or one of the prophets." "But who do you say that I am?" asked Jesus. Simon Peter, one of his closest disciples, answered, "You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God." Jesus replied, "Blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah, for this was not revealed to you by flesh and blood, but by my Father in heaven." Peter was onto something, but even then he didn't understand the fullness of what Jesus was doing. Just a few moments later, Jesus tells his disciples he must go to Jerusalem to suffer and die, but be risen again on that third day. John was quick to confront Jesus, but Jesus said no. John's concern was misplaced. Jesus came with a mission, and he would not let anybody, not even Peter, one of his closest disciples, get in the way of God's awesome plan that has been thousands of years in the making. The events proceeded as Jesus and the prophecies foretold. He was betrayed, arrested, mocked and beaten, and finally, he was crucified. But even in the midst of his suffering, Jesus says, "I lay down my life, that I may take it up again. No man taketh it from me, but I lay it down of myself. I have the power to lay it down, and I have the power to take it again." On that third day after his death, just as he foretold, Jesus rose from the grave, victorious over sin and death, fulfilling that redemption story that has been playing out since the beginning of creation. So we return to that original question. Who was this man Jesus? Many from the past and present have formed their own ideas of who he might have been. Some say he was just a wise man who amassed a following. Some say he was just a good teacher. Some say he was just a prophet. But tonight, let us answer within our hearts that powerful question that Jesus asked his disciples. Who do you say that I am?